Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast entitled With New Beginnings. And we are starting off this new special edition of our partnered attorneys that we work with here at New Beginnings Title Company. And our first amazing and wonderful guest that I finally get to meet in person after so many years is Al. Al, thank you so much for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Kelly, first of all, I'm so happy we got to meet.
Yes.
Everybody sees each other through email, and we never get to meet in person. And I just so happened to be in town. I said, Kelly, let's do this. Perfect timing. And for those that don't know, my name's Al Nicoletti. I'm a probate real estate attorney. I work with so many of the investors, realtors, title professionals on solving probate deals when they get in the mud with probates, yes, when it comes on the title commitments and it says probate. And our unique model is the fact that we'll wait until the closing to get paid.
Nice.
And we do it in every county in Florida, doesn't matter where. And I gotta say, we love working with New Beginnings when they find these things as well, or they have clients. And so it's always refreshing to work with an amazing title company like you guys.
Yes, thank you so much. And you know, it's so important too, because people always ask me, they're like, do you have an in-house attorney? Or, you know, do you have an attorney that we can work with for whatever reason? And, you know, I feel like people always think of title companies and they're like, if you don't have an attorney in office, we can't work with you. But, you know, one of the purpose of this video is to show people we do have attorneys that we work with that are amazing, and they focus on whatever specific thing that you need.
Yes.
And today we're going to be learning about the amazing individual that does probate and the attorney that we love to work with all the time, right? So Al, tell us, what made you want to pick the field of getting into probate?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kelly, because like when I first started out in 2016, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was in the foreclosure, probates, a little more the foreclosure field.
Okay.
I was just getting my feet wet. And it was around like the next year, 2017, when I got introduced to more of the probate world and sat down with my best friend from law school, and we were talking about probates, and he was pointing some things out. And it was at that time that the idea spawned of the opportunity behind probate and what it was and how to capture it. And really the big point behind it was there's just so many properties, thousands of properties that are just sitting, still titled in the deceased person's name, and there's nothing happening with them.
Yeah.
And so what was needed was a solution to overcome this. And at the time, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how is nobody going after these? Like, you know, what's the angle? What's the unique offer? And so over the course of a couple years, between speaking events, getting them done, I was able to show people that this was a model that can be rinse, repeat, and high volume.
Nice.
And I loved it because we are all headed to a generation of baby boomers.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm the type of person, Kelly, that I get into projects that I know that are going to be long-term and committed. And I saw where the path was, where this was going, and it was only going up. And so I knew if I could have a unique model, it was going to be lasting for 20, 30, 40 years, and I could do a high volume business model out of it. It was a no-brainer. And so ever since, 8 years, almost 9 years in practice, it feels great, and more probates than ever. We're seeing more cases than we ever have. And I think that's a benefit too, because you brought up a great point with the title company part, where some people are always looking for in-house and stuff. I think exactly like you guys, you know, you want to have an expert in that field for what they do. Just because you're in-house doesn't mean that's a great process for getting things done. What you want is you want your expert for title, expert for probate, expert 100%. For foreclosures, expert for this. Yeah, it may be in separate areas, but when you find people that are niched down, that's when you get the people that go deep every single day. They've seen a lot, not everything, and you're going to get more behind that than in a one-stop shop.
Exactly. And, you know, that's an incredible point that you make, because then if you're doing a little bit of everything, you're also doing a little bit of nothing, a lot of bit of nothing, right? Because you're trying to stretch yourself out too thin. So, you know, if you just focus on what you're meant to be doing, then you don't need to worry about anything else.
Right.
And you found that niche and that secret to success, let's call it, in a field that you knew that was going to be long-term for you.
Right.
And that is amazing. And something that you seem to be very passionate about, which is the best thing, right? Because I feel like nowadays most people are not really passionate about what they do. But you are very passionate. If you guys have seen Al on social media, he is amazing. He has amazing videos, amazing information, and he's always talking about what he loves to do, which is pretty cool. And you also always find a solution for people to get that home that's been sitting on the market, or even to have families close that chapter of selling a property from mom or dad that passed away, or XYZ, whatever's going on, right? Now, we do know that probate can get a little bit crazy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can.
Right?
Yes.
So what has been like the craziest thing you've had to do to find someone in order to close on a deal?
So it's a great question, because this is one of the unique issues that comes up in deals, is trying to locate heirs if you can't find them. So step one is, we don't do that in person or in our office, but this is where you got to get with the experts that do. And fortunately, there's people out there that, as a side hustle or JV opportunity, help people locate and find heirs. And so the one deal that comes to mind, which was the craziest one I think I saw like 2-3 years ago, I remember I was standing in the terminal for the Jacksonville airport. I had just gotten back from a long trip. And an investor called me. He said, "Hey Al, we got a potential deal. We think there is a son, but we don't know where he is. How do we get around this?" And I'm thinking, well, if the guy's alive, you need him, and there's nothing you can do, so you got to find him. So they went on a wild goose chase for about 6 to 8 months. And the story was they got an air searcher, and shout out to Stephanie Shepard if she ever watches this. Stephanie, she was able to use Facebook to use Messenger and comment on this guy's post, on his Facebook post. And 4 months later, after doing it, the guy reached out and said, "Yeah, I'm the son. I know about the property." And she goes, "Well, where can we find you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm in the middle of the Pacific Ocean."
Oh my God. So what, you guys flew in a helicopter?
Well, no, they were able to do everything virtual. That would be crazy, right? I mean, that makes it a really worth it deal if you could fly it all the way there. But the fact that they were able to use simple resources like Facebook to be able to find somebody like that was just a game changer.
That's incredible.
Incredible story. So I feel like that was probably the craziest in terms of locating heirs. And just for everybody to know, if you get stuck in the mud, just know that there are ways, there's skip tracing tools and resources, been verified, a people finder, white pages, genealogists, Skip Genie, all these companies out there that will help you overcome those issues.
That's amazing, and I think also, thankfully, the technology that we have today makes that all accessible for us. But I think also the key thing here is also having a little bit of patience, especially with a probate deal, right? Because I mean, it could take a long, long time for you to find someone or for the deal to close, because maybe these heirs didn't know there was a property and now they want a little bit of money or whatever the case is. So, they're not always the most beautiful story, but if you have patience, the deal can get done.
Absolutely. There are people that... There was one deal, Kelly, where this was East Florida, great area. I mean, if I told you where it was, you'd be like, wow, no way. Like basically on a beach. And there was just a house sitting there. Investors found it through either cold call, skip tracing. And what was so unique was when they did the lineage line, when they did the family tree, there was no will, no spouse, no kids ever, no parents alive at the time of death, no brothers, sisters ever, no nieces and nephews. And so we're really deep now. And they found there was like 20 aunts and uncles in the tree.
Jesus Christ.
All of them predeceased the owner of the property. And when that happens in probate, it drops down to the cousins. Well, of all the cousins that there were, all of them died before the title owner except 2. And they found both of them.
Wow.
And they were ready to sell, ready to do it. And so the big picture here is just when you think a deal like that would have been dead, it's not dead. And now they were able to close. They made almost like a $300,000 profit on the deal. And beach property. So, you know, they're not, there are deals where it's going to be tricky and hard, and maybe it's just not, you can't get them, or you got to start getting really creative. But many of these are solvable, and the surprising part is, for those that don't know, let's just say you got everybody. These probates don't take that long. So when you get everybody, people used to think, Kelly, it'd take for 6 months, 12 months, a year.
Yeah.
These things are taking weeks.
Okay. Interesting.
So you do probate only in Florida?
Right. Every county in Florida. And that actually becomes a question too. People will say, can you do it in Escambia? Can you do it in Marion? Can you do it in Lee? We do it every county. It doesn't matter. We don't have to be in that county. And the great part is everything's really virtual now.
Yeah.
With DocuSign, online notary, FedEx, mobile notaries. I mean, there's so many resources. So there's possibilities of having to send that out to get those deals done.
Incredible. So now you guys know, you don't have to be in person. Like I said, I've known Al for several years now, and this is the first time we meet because everything we've ever done has been virtual.
Yeah.
Right? Again, technology offers that incredible experience and opportunity to be able to just get things done. We're not like back in the heydays where we had to fax things over, meet, and take days for documents to get sent back and forth. There were other cases.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the beauty of it. Now, Al, we're going to go with our last and final question.
Sure.
If there was any other career that you could choose today, maybe like a frustrated career, like if you want to be anything else, what would that have been besides a probate attorney?
I gotta say, my only answer is I don't think there would have been anything else but for what I'm doing now. Because,
really?
Yeah. Because I'll say this, the freedom and the reward for what I'm doing now as an entrepreneur has been incredible. I couldn't think of that's the greatest part of working and owning my own business.
Yes.
I never once sat down and said, man, I wish I didn't do law and I wish I would have done this. And that's what's unique about feeling passionate, loving what you do.
Definitely.
And also building the lifestyle. Like I could go anywhere when I want, how I want.
That's amazing.
I could come to a podcast in the middle of a day on a Thursday or Friday, whatever it is, and just do it and get done. So great question, but I've never once thought of I would. Now there have been things in the past I wish I was like back when I was in high school or college, maybe wanted to be in the FBI or wanted to be a violin maker.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I've done violin for 10 years.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
So that's your hobby.
Well, I haven't played in that long time, but no, ever since I went into law,
you've just been headstrong in it.
Yeah, never looked back.
Wow. Well, I'm very passionate about what I do, but I think I've always wanted to be a backup singer for a salsa band.
Okay.
They're in the back. I feel like when you watch them, they're so fun. And I'm like, I want to be that. And they travel the world and everything. Or be a baker. It's so random. I'm an artist. So I would love to make those extravagant cakes. I don't know. I always tell my partner, I'm like, hey, when I become a mom, I want to be the baker shows. That's what I want to do next. And so, those little things like that. But that's incredible that you have so much passion for what you do that you're like, no, this is it. Take or leave it.
This is it. Yeah. And I feel that way every day. I mean, to be able to come here and be able to do this, or go speak at an event, it feels very rewarding. And, it took years of practice to get into it. Yeah. And it was a lot of grind, a lot of late nights,
of course,
a lot of money to shell out for law school, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, so you're in it.
I'm with this. I'm grounded and content.
Amazing. Well, Al, where can we reach you at? How can we get in touch with you? Please let us know so that we can share it with everyone who's watching.
Well, first of all, thank you, Kelly, for having me on the podcast, because this is great to do this kind of stuff. Great content. For people that want to find me, social media, definitely you want to go there. First of all, on YouTube channel under Al Nicoletti. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and then I have the Al Nicoletti Show, which we had Katie McGinnis on the episode, and you can find that on Spotify and iTunes. Just find us all there. And I'll say, if you want to reach out to us, our phone number is 904-999-0053, and always leave a detailed voicemail as we screen all calls. So just make sure you reach out there and find us there. And thank you so much again, Kelly, for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. And of course, whenever people ask us, about probate, Al is always the person that we refer right away. So even if you didn't write this number down and you email us, trust me, we're going to give you his information. So thank you so much, Al. I hope you have a safe trip back home and continue having a successful career.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to more closings and more deals with new beginnings.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everyone.